Hello everybody, this is Muhammad Hassan and this is my video presentation for my final project toward a personal theory of learning and instructions. Pass it forward, a personal theory of learning and instruction is a basics and the elements of a new theory, a personal one that I have created. Pass what forward, I will explain it later, and the most important thing is how to pass it. First, I would like to say that I have met a graduate professor who told us, you will be leaders. Those students who are running for graduate degrees, after being graduated, everybody around them will look at them as leaders, as a source of knowledge, and he or she will be surrounded by seeker of knowledge as they see them leader, and you have to be ready for that. So since everybody has his own characters, and since we work for education, being a leader and you have your own characters may be the basics of building your own theory of learning and instruction. My introduction here is about learning theory are explanations in which individuals feel people learn and retain information. Without knowledge of the various learning theories, teacher would have a difficult time transferring the existing knowledge and the skills they want to their student to process. This was by Lever, Duff, and MacDonald. My theory in details. Pass it forward is a combination of two halves. The first half is well-known overreaching theories like behaviorism, cognition development, biology, motivation, instruction, constructivism, and connectivism. The first half of my resource was focused on motivation, constructivism, and connectivism, as these great theories touch my personality in many ways, and I do admire reading about them, as I found myself have some of these theories even before I know them or read about them. The other side, or the second half of building my theory, consists of years of experience dealing with great expert professors at the US universities and college. I was born and raised in North Africa, where I have no relationship between me and teacher to remember. Harming students, physically harming, is part of the consequence for those needy and moneyless students. And I was such a lucky to have a chance to continue my education in the US. Feel how I was lucky. And once I arrived in the US, and during my first semester, I have met great faculty and staff. They taught me how to go over the culture shock. They taught me that students go to school to gain knowledge before they run into a good grade. They told me that the US may be the land of dreams for many people, but this country has a very tough job marketing and a full of qualified candidates who are well educated and good using technology. So education may be the only way for me to survive. And also they taught me that education is the only weapon that no one can take it from me, including the strongest enemy I may have or I may face. I am lucky to have many great professors around me pass it forward. I still remember and keep in touch with those who taught me and those who didn't taught me and were advisor or friends, sometimes more than family members and relatives. They all do the same and pass their knowledge forward with no fear, always willing to help in the first line with no hesitate at all. They go for the further step for those shiny students or who do not ask for help or those who are behind tasks. They do not pass their knowledge only forward. They pass all their abilities as human, not only as educators. For example, their door always open and they are good listener, with open-minded and lovely souls and hearts. They help me in non-academic issues, as they know from their experience that these issues may affect me academically. They pass it forward with all students, not only me. As we wonder, as students, how these great educators always ready for all our concern and never let us down or even see them upset, mad, or not in the mood for a moment. Of course, they have their own problems, but they have the strong magic ability to hide away anything preventing them from passing it forward. I do believe they pass it forward every day and all the year long, at work, outside of work, as non-stop daily habits that become part of their nice personalities. The idea of the theory name Pass It Forward I was lended from a great professor who stretched my mind and academic abilities into a level that I couldn't dream to reach before I met with her. This great professor gave me a hand before I was just about to drop myself from the master degree program. It was my first graduate semester and a step that I never imagined to do it without another advisor who was very young and holding a PhD degree, and he believes that everybody should do the same like him and earn advanced degree in a young age, and he believed in my skill and keep pushing me to enroll into a graduate admission. And after many discussion between me and him, and I enrolled, and during my first semester I was very afraid because I have online class that I didn't submit anything for the first 3 weeks. I don't know what to do. So I contact the teacher by phone, and I was very afraid that she may refuse or she may drop me, she may give me a zero for all these late assignments, and I will end up with a very bad grade as a fair grade. But instead, she knows that I am facing a problem as a new graduate student and as a non-English native speaker, and all I need is more explanations about her online class and more motivation and self-esteem. She gave me more than I would to dream to have from a teacher. She supported me academically and non-academically all the times till I am almost done with my master program. She told me before that the best job in academia is faculty, and she enjoying it. This great professor has been interviewed many times in the media, and during one of these interviews she exactly said, after a question about how and when she involved in academia, she said, accidentally I actually hated formal education. It was not until I experienced a truly amazing professor during my master studies that I began to enjoy the process of thinking and learning within more formalized educational environment. This professor was blind and actually wanted his students to experience ideas and creativity beyond what was offered during his lecture. He wanted us to be innovation and thinking outside the box, which was a totally new experience for me. I respected this gentleman beyond all compare. I never thought I could go for a doctoral studies until he suggested that I could do it and that I should think about it. He was the first person in my life to suggest that I was smart and could accomplish whatever I desired to achieve. I was young and pretty, but nobody in my sphere were cared what I thought about anything. During my doctor study, I was very pleased to have an amazing faculty advisor. He was academically nurturing and very patient as I tried to overcome my own insecurities. I never actually thought about becoming involved in academia until I was finishing my doctoral studies and looking around realized that I had no idea what to do next. I thought about it quite a lot and strongly desired to personally impact others the way these two gentlemen had. So, this is why I became involved in academia to pass it forward and try to offer the same high quality mentorship and supportive guidance, and I somehow received a gift from these superior academics. And she passed it forward and she passed it to me. And here, when I'm talking about what to do with this story, I say I have read the interview several times and I cried as it touched me in many ways. She was talking as if I were talking about myself, explaining what she's exactly doing for me. She's passing forward, she's passing all her abilities. She's doing more than just teaching. Once I read the interview, I promised to keep this slogan, pass it forward, in the front of me all my life. I will make it my learning and instruction story for the rest of my life, working for educational institution as a trainer, instructional designer, or professor. I will pass it and share it all the knowledge I do have for all learners and students. I will meet all with a smile to break the ice and gap between me and the learners to make them feel free and comfort to ask for all what they need. I will make them feel that I want them to be better than me professionally and academically too, as my current and former professor humbly make me feel the same towards them. I am already advising all around me, friends, relatives, and family members to keep going to school and earn advanced degree as they can. I don't know why I cannot control myself advising all around me about their education and goals. Maybe because I do believe that education is the golden key to unlock the golden door of freedom, as George Washington Carver said. It's a part of my personality that I'm willing to help, and I do enjoy helping everybody in their academic goal all the time. Why do we do need to create new theories? According to this rule, learning is such a complex matter, it is perhaps impossible to connective of a single theory broad enough to encompass all important aspects of learning and yet still specific enough to be useful for instruction. So like blind men, each touching a different part of the elephant, we must evaluate its separate theory for what it eliminate about learning and for how it can guide the development of effective instruction. So we see that great late and current expert and professor are encouraging to create and developing their own theories. Learning is not a complex and wide matter only, but it is able to be changed regard time and technology involvement, as updates are always necessary and available. However, using and evaluating former overreaching theory is important to create your own. The process of theory building this scroll has provided us with this process, which consists of these steps, and my own process was already have some of these steps, and during my editing and developing I will involve the rest of it. My critics and obstacles for my theory: maybe some people say that the human side of your theory is not a part of teaching, or the teacher job description doesn't include that part, and they are right. But I think people who are running to be teacher certified and working for almost 1 year for being a certified, part of this certification is the personal side, working with the students as not educator, as human, and most of educators love to play that human role with their learners as part of their responsibilities and natural responsibilities too. And for those who are not, they will find themselves involving with many touchable human situations with their students, for example, and they will perfectly deal with them as if they were their daughter and sons. And the great obstacle I have here is how to be ready all the time, how I can calm, nice, willing to pass it forward all the time regardless my sadness or personal problems. I'm a person who can badly affected professionally and academically by his personal issue. I have to learn how to separate and forget everything when I come to deal with learners and go to work. Maybe I have to use one of my nicest professor quotes: calm yourself, the wise restrain their feelings. I will try my best to use this quote and always be ready, calm, to pass it forward all the time. Thank you very much for listening. This is was Muhammad